Hi. As we begin this week, I just want to check in with you on something that's coming up. If you haven't already done so, you'll want to start thinking about your leadership interview assignment because the April 2nd due date will come up much more quickly than you realize. Now, the assignment description can be found in your syllabus and on Brightspace, but let me give a brief explanation. The overall purpose of this assignment is for you to interview someone you consider to be a leader and to learn about their philosophy, their approach, and their practice of leadership. Preferably, this person is someone whose leadership you have known either up close or from afar. And the questions you ask them are up to you, but they should focus on leadership and reflect somewhat the issues and concepts that we are discussing in this course. Now, don't feel like you have to interview someone who's well known, but also don't be afraid to shoot too high. In past years, students doing this assignment have interviewed politicians, prestigious heads of organizations, and individuals who are nationally known. One student actually interviewed Riane Eisler, the author of one of this week's articles, and a nationally recognized author and thinker on leadership and a whole host of other things. So think about who you'll interview. Think about the things you would like to learn from this person about leadership. And don't be hesitant or afraid to ask someone. Over all the years that I've been giving students this assignment, I have found that overwhelmingly that people love to talk about the work they do. You will often find that they thank you for asking them because you are honoring them by including them in your education. Now, the steps or logistics of this assignment are pretty straightforward. Number one, you need to decide who you'd like to interview and set up a time to talk with them. If at all possible, try to make this a face-to-face interview. Choose a time and place where there will be minimal distractions and plan for about 30 to 60 minutes. I find it best to ask for an hour of their time. And if you take up less than that, that's fine. But give yourself enough time. Then draw up your list of questions. Try to make them the kind of questions that invite a detailed response. Let them be open-ended and broad enough to allow your interviewee to share what's on their mind, but not so broad that they have no focus. Develop questions that are of interest to you or that might help you in your growth as a leader. Develop questions that come out of the information that we've been reading, that we've been thinking about and talking about in class. And go with a very clear list, and you may want to send that list of questions to the person you're going to interview ahead of time so they have time to think about it as well. Then number three, go to the interview. When you interview them, be sure to have them sign the consent form, which can be found on Brightspace. This is to cover us from a legal standpoint in the Institutional Review Board. Scan it and then attach it with your paper when you submit it, or send it by regular mail if you'd like. You may want to record the interview, but make sure you ask their permission first. And let the conversation flow. Don't feel enslaved to your questions. They're there to kind of guide you, but if you get off on a tangent or you do them in a different order, that's fine. The important thing is that you have a meaningful conversation, one that can be an educational experience for you. Then when the interview's over, number four, return home and summarize what you've learned in the paper. Let me be clear about one thing. I am not looking for a transcript of your interview. I'm looking for your summary and your reflection on what you learned on the interview. And the details of what should be included in that reflection are spelled out in the assignment description and the rubric for this assignment, so pay attention to them. And finally, enjoy the experience. You will benefit, and so will your interviewee. This is a chance for you to learn about leadership, not from a book, but from a person whose leadership you acknowledge and respect. I think and I hope you will find this to be a great opportunity for you to learn firsthand about leadership from a leader you respect. That person cannot be someone related to you. So not a father, a grandfather, a husband, a wife. Other than that, there are no other restrictions on who can be interviewed. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you get started, because it may take a couple of weeks to get the interview set up. And then go to the interview, and as I said, have fun with it. Now, don't hesitate to contact me if you have any further questions or concerns. But these are the basic outlines of that assignment. Take care.